Okay, so, hi guys, me again. I'm doing these trailer first looks all evening, as you've seen. Uh, well, not all evening, just this evening. I just don't have the time to waste doing a proper video. So, basically, this is my first reaction to the Batman vs Superman trailer, and boy, does this look awesome! I mean, they showed all this whole thing about everyone sort of rising up against Superman. It's very surprising that they're doing this. Because because I always sort of assume generally in most media adaptations of the character and in most comic varieties of the character, he's generally viewed as the big blue Boy Scout by the people, and by his enemies certainly, and as really a symbol of truth, of justice, of freedom, and of the American way. And I think what they're doing, in some ways, it looks like as a sort of commentary on a lot of the actual attitudes that humans have towards strange, powerful people and towards strange threats generally, and the way they're doing to calling him a false god, go away, go home, all that stuff. I think it's quite realistic, and it's definitely much more realistic than where you sort of see in all these TV shows where it's like he's Superman and he flies in with his sort of shield and everything, and everyone's like, da da, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman, and everyone's like, yay, it's Superman, he'll save us, because whatever's attacking us, whatever, yay. And some part of that just doesn't seem quite real. And it's towards the start, I mean, of when he sort of starts appearing. You sort of see, generally, he sort of shows up out of the blue. He saves some people. He talks to Lois Lane and explains who he is. Lois Lane somehow doesn't realize he's Clark Kent, but and then all of a sudden, everyone's completely fine with him, and everyone loves him. That's what happened in Superman the animated series anyway, with his sort of introduction to Metropolis and everything, and revealing himself. And it always sort of bugged me that it seems too easy for an alien being that people don't really know much about to trust. So that's why I really quite like what they're doing with this trailer. What it looks like they're doing with this film. There is a mistrust, and if you look at things like the Batman, the precise reason that Lex Luthor really hates the idea of humans having an alien as their savior. It should be a human. He sends Metallo out to kill him and does all this other stuff. That Lex Luthor, that version of Lex Luthor that appeared in The Batman, also voiced by Clancy Brown, the same brilliant Lex Luthor voice who did it in the DC animated universe, and also the the Batman Superman animated movies. That version of Lex Luthor is a version which I think would translate superbly well onto the big screen. One who has developed this business empire all by himself with his own genius and power, and he feels threatened by this alien savior that's come, and he feels fear against it, and he knows he needs to destroy it because he feels that humans shouldn't have an alien to look up to. They should be looking up to other humans who've made the effort, who've done great things. And in that way, that version of Lex Luthor that we saw wasn't a villain per se. At least he wasn't trying to be a villain. And I think that Lex Luthor, who hates Superman for that reason and wants him gone for that kind of attitude, would translate really well. And I personally think that might be what they're going for with this. I think Jesse Eisenberg, when I saw him with his head shaved, not in the advert, he wasn't in the advert, but in the promo pictures, he freaking looks like Lex Luthor. He looks like animated Lex Luthor. It's brilliant. But back to the trailer, this whole false god thing. I think it's brilliant. I think there was the bit where he was talking about the fear that turns good men cruel. I think that was Jeremy Irons talking. God, Jeremy Irons has an awesome voice. He's from the same town as me, Jeremy Irons. Just bringing that up. Jeremy Irons is playing Alfred in this. Great actor. Normally, I only like to see Jeremy Irons playing villains because he's awesome as villains all the time. With that said, he was quite good as what's his face? He was quite good in Aragon. I can't remember his name. He was the sort of mentor guy who was a dragon rider who died during the film because he was killed by was it Robert Carlyle's character? I think. I need to rewatch that film. Anyway, I think he's a very good actor. But his voice, I always feel is a little too harsh and scary for Alfred. It's the same reason I was really unsure when everyone was saying how Timothy Dalton was the first choice to play Alfred. I thought, nah, his voice is too scary. That was the only real complaint I had about Timothy Dalton as James Bond, actually. He sounded like a villain. I know, people's voices don't really indicate anything about their personalities usually. At least not their regular voice. Sure, if you're sounding angry, then you might be actually angry. But that's not relevant. So, I like that. And I love the line, do you bleed? You will. But at the same time, Ben Affleck didn't sound like Batman. He looked like Batman in the brief scene where we saw the batsuit that wasn't metal. I'll talk about the metal batsuit in a bit. He looked like Batman. He looked properly like Batman. He didn't look like he got some bits and bobs of different things that had been put together and bought from all these different places all over the world separately and were made of all these different extra special materials like we saw in Christopher Nolan's trilogy. This looked like Batman at his purest form. This batsuit, it looked exactly the way it was supposed to. It was dark grey rather than black, but it had the black logo, it had the black cape, it had the black cowl. It was the perfect batsuit. And now I'm going to talk about the metal batsuit, and I like that too. A lot of people have been complaining about that, and to you, I just want to say, freaking read The Dark Knight Returns. Sorry, I briefly forgot what it was called. Read The Dark Knight Returns, watch the animated movie, watch the episode of The Batman, where Batman is in that suit and he beats up Superman. Read Batman Endgame Part 2, in which Batman, wearing a metal giant robotic batsuit, beats the living crap out of Superman. And then after that suit sort of breaks off because Superman's pulling it apart, he then proceeds to carry on beating Superman up without it, whilst they're falling from the sky, after he's been stabbed, whilst he's under the influence of all these different things that the Scarecrow has been using to affect his mind. Batman is that much of a badass. But seeing him in this suit really, really makes me rather enjoy it. Really makes me very excited because I freaking love that giant robotic batsuit. And it does give him the advantage that he needs, because even though he is a total badass, sometimes he will need that suit. So I'm excited about that. I looked at that and I thought, wow, this is going to be good. I mean, it looks awesome. But it looks too dark. I know. You're going to say, oh, it's a comic book movie. Comic books are dark at the moment. It's supposed to be dark. Batman's dark and brooding because he's Batman. And his parents are dead. But, yes, Batman is. But Superman isn't. That was something that I did not like about Man of Steel. I liked Man of Steel. But it had some very big flaws. One was that it managed to have good and awful character development of the same character at the same time. And it was just like constantly showing bits of his character development and then just sort of skipping them. I was like, whenever something looked like it was developing into a scene, it would just sort of go forward and not really do it. So we don't really know anything about Superman's personality in this universe. I didn't think, so I didn't think that was very well done in Man of Steel. I think they're going to do more on that now, because it's their personalities that are going to clash, as well as their fists. The personalities of Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne are what are going to come at an odds for some reason or another, as well as different goals or opinions. There's going to be something epic. I can just feel epicness is coming from in this film. It just looks it. But anyway, if I'm honest, I would not have made it look as dark as it is, because I think Superman should be an inspiration to the people. He should be the very thing which I just said I'm glad he isn't, if that makes sense. I feel that he should inspire you. Even if at the start you don't trust him, he should grow on you. He should not be dark and brooding. He should be a bright, shining symbol of truth and justice and freedom. I mean, Batman can be dark and brooding. Several other superheroes can be dark and brooding, but not Superman. I mean, have you seen the posters for all of these characters that they've been releasing? Even freaking Aquaman looks dark and brooding. Aquaman isn't supposed to be dark and brooding. Why have they made Aquaman look dark and brooding? Only Batman gets to be dark and brooding. I hate to see when they get the Flash's poster out. It's going to be like, I am Barry Allen and I am the fastest man alive. I am Barry Allen and I'm the fastest man alive, and my mother was killed when I was a child by Eobard Thawne, who travelled back in time, and I am going to avenge her death by running really, really fast, and I am also dark and brooding now. Can't you tell by my unnecessarily dark and brooding attitude? No, the Flash will not be like that. He must not. Grant Gustin's The Flash in the Flash TV show is brilliant. I feel so sorry for Grant Gustin that without even seeing how audiences would react to him, Warner Brothers decided that they would just flat up say they're in different universes and cast Ezra Miller instead. I don't know anything about Ezra Miller as an actor. He might be brilliant. I really want to see how he's going to do. But I just wish they'd waited, because I would love to see Grant Gustin playing the Flash on the big screen. And we're not going to. And I think that's a real tragedy. And it's just hit me that I started off this video trying to talk about a trailer for a film, and I've ended up talking about something completely different. So, the trailer was great. Made me very excited about the film. Well, one thing about the trailer I forgot to mention. Not a fan of the Batman voice we heard. Really hope that metallic... I can just play it. Where did the trailer go? I think I've accidentally closed it. Batman vs Superman trailer. The voice just sounded too metallic. It sounded too robotic. When I hear a Batman voice, when I imagine how Batman speaks, the voice in my head is somewhere in between Rino Romano and Kevin Conroy. Mostly edging towards Kevin Conroy with the whole I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman scene. Yeah, so I think if we ever get a Batman Beyond movie that doesn't feature Kevin Conroy as old Bruce Wayne, I will not watch it. Actually, yeah, I will, but I will be bitterly disappointed that they hired someone else. But let me just go to the voice. It doesn't matter. You've all seen the trailer. I'll link the trailer below. I just I don't like the voice, and I'm hoping that it's just the voice that's as a result of what he gets through the suit, and that his actual voice is something that's more along the lines of the way most people imagine Batman speaking, which probably is Kevin Conroy. I mean, whenever I read a comic book, I said the voice I heard was somewhere in my head, was somewhere in between Reno Romano and Kevin Conroy, even before I saw Kevin Conroy in Batman the Animated Series. It took me a shamefully long time to get round to watching that series, and once I did, and I heard Kevin Conroy, I was like, well done, you are Batman. You are freaking Batman. That guy is, because he still does it occasionally, the single epitome of everything badass and awesome about the Batman voice and about Batman as a character. And he shifted and was also the perfect Bruce Wayne voice. And again, this has nothing to do with Batman versus Superman. That does not sound like what I'm hearing. Two actors who I would have cast as Batman in this film rather than Ben Affleck. He might be brilliant, I don't know. I haven't seen that much things with him in. Wasn't really much of a fan of Daredevil, so I'm not too glad about their casting him, but he might be great. I would have cast either Jensen Ackles, he would have been badass and awesome, or Karl Urban, he would have also been badass and awesome. Also, Karl Urban hasn't been in nearly enough stuff lately. I swear, ever since he was in, it's weird, when I reviewed Walking with Dinosaurs movie, and he was in it at the start, I think if memory serves, I said, no, get out of this movie, Karl Urban, you still have a career to lose. And after that movie, I haven't seen him in anything, so maybe he did lose his career as a result of that film. He probably didn't. His role was too minor. But he would have been a fantastic Batman. Absolutely brilliant. So would have Jensen Ackles. But even so, Ben Affleck, from what I've heard from some of his other films, he's a much more talented actor than many people give him credit for. And he certainly is a talented director. We know that. So hopefully he'll be able to give his directing input into this film. Okay, it's just hit me that I have started waffling for 17 minutes, 45 seconds. So I had really better finish. And that is it for my trailer opinions marathon. So let me know what you thought of the trailer below and what your opinions are currently of the DC Cinematic Universe as it's going on. And feel free to subscribe and like if you want to, unless of course you think I'm a twerp, or something like that, in which case please feel free to do none of those things and dislike, because my videos generally just seem to get dislikes and not many likes. But that's not relevant. So, yes, feel free to like and subscribe. I will be back in a few weeks' time when I'll be reviewing SpongeBob, the episode Dear Vikings, or when and I'll be back before that when I'm reviewing the next few episodes of the next few issues of Batman Endgame. Thanks.